Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back today. Well, first off, I just wanted to run a quick update by you guys. This is my first day back recording after I've been away at Hannah's for a week, and then she was back here, so I didn't get much done because we were just enjoying the fact that we've now been together for 3 years. As a result, yes, hair has grown back, slightly lopsided this morning, don't know why. But also, in regards to the videos that have been up that have had a little bit of lag, a little bit of frame rate, been a bit choppy, whatever else that occurred previously. Unfortunately, now at the moment, I'm having to do most of these videos in one take, which I'm actually quite enjoying. It's quite a challenge making sure that my presentation is of a decent speed, making sure that that's on point. But it did mean that when I found some of those choppier videos later on, I didn't have the ability just to redo those straight away, and you could still see what was happening and all the rest of it. And so I don't know why it was happening. I assume it was because something was happening on my PC in the background, and as a result, it kind of cut the videos up a bit more and had us drop in some frames. But they're up now. Hopefully we won't have any more of those. I'll try and keep an eye out for them, but who knows, maybe one will slip through if I'm a bit rushed again in the future. But back onto today. The thing that I want to talk about is mostly because I was away, I didn't get to do the month in review and the month in Trump videos. So today is going to be the month in review on something very specific, something very important, which I'm sure you guys have seen the title. It's the UK election. But then the month in Trump, next month I'll do like a couple of months in one video, and hopefully we'll be back to normal for the next month. But the things that I want to talk about in regards to the UK election, because obviously it's a very important thing, it's been dropped very suddenly, and the things that come out of it, the things that stand out to me are, firstly, we've got why Theresa May has done it when she was so adamant that she wasn't going to, when she was so pointed in her resistance to the idea, and the continual muttering of kind of the will of the British people, we're going to do this, it's fine, we're just going to continue regardless, and all of those kind of things. The next thing I want to talk about just after that is the parties and their reaction to this, which has really kind of bugged me, because it seems to be going the same way that the referendum did, the same way that a whole load of other things have gone, and it's just a bit daft in my opinion. It's all very up in the air. And then lastly, I want to talk about voting, because that's incredibly important, and you've got maybe about 12 days left to register to vote if you're able to vote in the UK. And as a result, I want to talk about that just quickly at the end. But first off, lots of people were talking about Theresa May when it first came out last month, that she was announcing this election, and it was going to be only a matter of weeks, really, just over a month, to really get the ball rolling, to get people engaged and whatever else. And lots of people were going, oh, she's just doing it for this, she's just doing it for that. And I feel like there were a couple of things that were missed in that. So firstly, in regards to Theresa May and why she's done it, I have a feeling that she went away on her walking holiday up in Wales or wherever it was, and she, while she was up there with the people that were around her, she had probably some kind of realisation that, firstly, Brexit is a shit show. Secondly, she's not particularly well equipped to deal with what's going to happen next, and the scrutiny is going to fall on her. And secondly, calling a general election now is a win-win for her. Either she wins, has a potentially larger majority, can do whatever the hell she wants. She can be as kind of disregarding of the well-being of the country and as self-aggrandizing as she wants to be, and she will have no opposition or very little opposition. And she's already got a track record of being quite authoritarian in the things that she has said and done, and as a result, is it really any surprise that that's the direction that she's got as one option? But then the other one is, if she gets voted out, she still doesn't lose. Look at Cameron, look at Osborne and all of the other people that have recently left the government in one way or another, all of them have gone on to continue to be well paid, to continue to do jobs that they're arguably in no way qualified for, and so on and so forth. And as a result, she'll be fine coming out the other side of it. And more importantly, then, even if she does stay in politics, she gets to turn around and point at whoever it is, be it Corbyn, be it Farron, be it whoever else. She gets to turn around and point at them and actively criticise them for what they are doing in regards to Brexit, when most of the mess that is coming out of this comes from her party, comes from Cameron and May and their ridiculous run with things. And so it's a win-win for her. But now let's talk about the reaction to this, because the reaction to this has been an awful lot of random comments, an awful lot of sound bites and statements. Obviously, the Conservative Party have been ridiculous in the way that they've dealt with it, with just continually rehearsing these sound bites, continually kind of putting up walls, but also they're making sure that by doing this and announcing it within such a short period of time, they're leaving people again to purely run on emotion, to purely run on fear, and as a result, the confusion, the disarray, the upset, and all that kind of thing leaves them in a pretty good position, considering the last couple of times that they've been in this position, they've done quite well off it. And so then, though, we look at the response from others, and the response from others, you've got Corbyn kind of standing up there and making a lot of noise, lots of people either sticking with their guns about him or saying that they don't feel that he's got the full support of his party, and so it won't necessarily work. You've got the Lib Dems with an evangelical Christian as their leader, making a huge amount of noise and taking, to be fair to them, getting a fair step up again compared to what they lost. But at the same time, they're still not really in sync with themselves. Yeah, when you've got a leader who is obviously more conservative than is liberal, considering how well he is supposedly informed by his religious views, and how traditionalist those views are, and how kind of ridiculous that seems. It's very much a parody. And everyone, again, like the last election, has got both good points and bad points. All of them, no one is good, no one is definitively good, and no one is definitively bad. There is always at least one thing that makes sense. But here's the thing, and this is the thing that's really bugged me, because you guys might have realised by now, but I like to have a look at stuff, I like to pick it apart, I like to have a read at least to gain that perspective. And what I would like to do is take a look at the manifestos. Now, you would have thought a manifesto, a list pretty much of the things that you would want to achieve, or things that you would want to promise as a political party from a very, from a fairly solid political kind of grounding, considering that you've just got all of our political parties across the spectrum. We've got 5 major parties, you've got 2 on the right, 2 on the left, and in theory 1 in the middle. Unfortunately, that's not really the case because of the way that the parties have moved around and how ridiculous they are. But what it comes down to is they're not putting out these manifestos. That the thought of, actually, all we need to do, we've already got these core things that we kind of like, kind of want, things that we want to work with, things that we believe in, just list them out, set them down, and in theory we should have been monitoring these situations the whole time, because we're part of a large political institution, and so we should be able to put these things straightforward down on a piece of paper, and we can provide clarity as an amendment. So, like, I don't know, in regards to things to do with the NHS, for instance, yeah, you could put down, this is what we want to do with the NHS. Okay, right, so then as you go forward, as more relevant information becomes available, that manifesto just gets amended with, 2017 manifesto now has accurate data which says that we will require this amount of money, this is where we'll get it from, and this is how we're going to action it. That's not a difficult thing. Surely you just got a core list and then you just update it with the current information. That's what would make sense, right? But then again, politics doesn't make sense, and as a result, also they don't want to pin themselves down. You've got lots of people going, "Oh, we can beat Theresa May," and you've got lots of people going, "Oh, well, we don't really want to beat Theresa May," or "We're going to try and vote tactically. We're going to gang up in one way or the other." When this controlled conflict that we've got here as a democracy, it has already been like freewheeling and falling to pieces for a fair while now already. If you let a cart freewheel down a hill for too long, chances are it's going to hit something and break apart, which we've already started seeing our political system shake itself to pieces as it goes. All it needs is one collision and it's done for. And so, as a result, they don't want to tie themselves down to these set manifestos straight away. That much seems fairly clear, which is why even in the news, I mean, I checked this morning to see if any of them had come out, and it's May 10th at the moment, at the point of recording, and nothing had come out that I could find so far, and this was checking all of the party websites, checking the news and whatever else. In which case, though, then with that, I want to talk about actually voting. First off, big important thing, if you are able to vote in the UK and you haven't registered yet, or if you're not sure if you are or aren't registered, find out, go online, take a look, and then also you've got until, I believe it's the 22nd of May, 22nd of this month, to make sure you are registered to vote so that you can actually go ahead and put yourself forward. Now, I know an awful lot of people, especially supposedly young people, who are potentially even politically quite engaged but just haven't bothered to vote. With these people, the one thing that I would say to you guys is you've got nothing to lose. What you are being asked to do is offer your opinion. And usually if you ask anyone to offer their opinion, they will give it to you in spades. There is no such thing as a wasted vote, because all you are doing is taking advantage of an opportunity to express your opinion as a person who lives in this country. There is not a single person in this country who does not have an opinion on at least one or two things in regards to what's going on here. Yeah? For example, you could walk down the street and talk to everyone about Brexit. Some people may have more extreme or more moderate views on it, but everyone's going to have some form of opinion. In which case, though, for God's sake, you're being asked to present an opinion, go and give it to them, because you've got nothing else to lose. And here's the thing, I understand that especially for those people who are working, it can be incredibly hard because most of the voting is going to run through the middle of the day. Lots of people will not have the time, either first thing in the morning or last thing at night, or even during their working day, to find the time to go out to whichever voting station, whichever polling station, and put themselves forward for it. And that's tough, but at the same time it's important. I believe polling stations remain open until about 10 p.m, possibly later, I can't remember off the top of my head, but what it comes down to is they are open quite early, they stay open till quite late. If you have the opportunity to, then go ahead and vote, because we're not going to get anywhere when you've got people like the Conservatives who can run around yelling "will of the people" when about a quarter of the whole population voted. You had a quarter that voted in regards to the referendum, you had a quarter that voted for Brexit, a quarter that voted against, a quarter who didn't even bother to vote, and then a quarter of people who weren't, well, give or take, a quarter of people who weren't able to vote for whatever reason. And so as a result, go and express your opinions, say your part. But also, when it comes to it, there's an awful lot of fear-mongering going around again. You've got an awful lot of people throwing out all of this very emotive stuff. You've got Corbyn kind of stood on his podium. You've got May hiding from people but letting her cronies go out there. And whenever it comes to a conversation with her, it becomes repetitions of things like strong and stable. and strong leadership and all of that kind of stuff, which is very nebulous terms for things that could be very well defined, which she just hasn't bothered to do. And as a result, you can't say that it's the will of the people when about 75% of the population didn't get either their way or have a say. And as a result, this is why the tribalism drives me insane. This is why when I talk to very political friends who actively follow a specific party, I go, why? It genuinely makes no sense to me, because attaching yourself in that tribalistic, aggressive manner to one ideology is just foolish, because different ideologies have different strengths, and if you can take the best of all of them, then why wouldn't you? And this is where I personally would like to see a reform of UK government. I have a feeling that we're going to run into a roadblock very soon, as our system of government is already straining against the fact that it is very, very outdated, and both the world, the attitudes of people, the technology involved in the world, and so on and so forth are moving forward at such a pace that it just can't keep up with. And so, as a result, though, in regards to voting, please go and vote, regardless of whether you agree with me or not on the vote itself, or the people that you would vote for. Go out and vote, and make sure also that you take into account the things that you're looking at locally. Yeah, because you're not, unfortunately, in the UK, you're not voting directly for whoever it is that's at the top of the chain. You're not voting for Theresa May or Corbyn or Farron or what's his name, Nuttall from UKIP. You're not voting for any of those personalities. You're voting for your local representative, and then whoever gets the majority of seats gets government. Vote for what's happening locally. Make sure that you are aware of what's happening locally. Make sure that you're aware of the policies, both the big ones and the local ones that people are trying to run on, and then vote. And then try and make sure that you do the best thing for you. Because if you do the best thing for you, if everyone does the best thing for them, factually the best thing for them, that's removed from fear of immigration or fear of whatever else, if you actually just take a look at what's going on and try and work to that to your best advantage, then if everything goes tits up, then fair enough, you made a poor call, but at the same time you just worked in your best interest, or the best interest of those people around you, and you can't be faulted for that. But again, it's expressing an opinion, and you can express your opinion, and that person can be put in charge of the country as a result of that opinion. But what it comes down to still is that when your opinion has been expressed, when that person has been put in charge, they are then accountable to you, they're accountable to everybody else, and it's still their decision to do the things that they do. Yeah, the referendum, for instance, was completely advisory. It was taken as law almost straight away, and if it hadn't been for the case that involved Parliament, then you would have had dictator May going off and doing whatever the hell she wanted with it, which, to be fair, she's already gone and done because no one has kept her in check. But anyway, that's all I've got to say on the election, guys, and the little update that I gave at the beginning about kind of videos and where I've been and what I've been up to. And as a result, I'd love to know what you guys think. Which way do you feel you're going to be voting in the election so far? If you're in the UK, what do you think of the various political situations that you can see? If you're from outside the UK, a third person kind of perspective on things for other people would be great to hear. I mean, I have a fair number of friends in Europe, and they're all very kind of concerned, considering that the whole Brexit thing is kind of laughable and really concerning to them anyway, especially when a lot of those people have a lot of friends in the UK, and that freedom of movement being restricted potentially, that's something that concerns an awful lot of people. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys have to think about this. Otherwise, just from me, please go and vote. It's an important thing. I wish, like certain countries, we could like pay people either to go and vote, have it be a thing that work actively stops in the middle of the day for those people who have to work, so that everyone goes and votes. Or I wish that maybe we went the other route and people who don't vote without good reason get fined. One way or another, I'd like to see more of an enforcement on voting. But hey ho. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.